Cuba doesn't really fit into the typical category of different third world countries when it comes to hunger. They aren't poor. Cuba is actually on the wealthier side when it comes to country. Their problem is that they import 80% of their goods. They are in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and they do get hit by a lot of tropical weather, which makes it more difficult to produce any sort of grains or corns or anything like that to sustain life. Being a communist country and working on the theory that all for one, one for all, Cuba's government does provide what is coined a bread basket, which they give out once a month, which contains what the Cuban government feels is enough sustenance to maintain a human life for a month. To their own admission, the Cuban government has said multiple times that it is not enough. Children stop receiving milk at the age of 7 because milk is in a shortage. Many citizens have said that the food is definitely not enough, and they go without food for about 3 weeks out of the month just because they need to eat. Cuba itself has laws protecting cattle and things like that, where if you're caught killing a cattle to feed your family, it's punishable by life in prison or death. Because of the U.S. trade embargoes placed on Cuba, a lot of their food doesn't get to the country. Cuba used to rely on Russian subsidies, but since the collapse of the communism in Russia, they really don't get much. In order to try to help Cuba, I think we need to put away political differences and think more so about the people. Regardless of who is in power, it's important to, I mean, they're human beings. They need to eat, they need to live their lives. They need to work and be able to stay at work without getting hunger or sleepy or confusion due to the lack of food. That's one of the main problems. The U.S. does send food and things like that to other third world countries, but I think they need to help the Cuban people, not so much the government, but the Cuban people.